What is up, everybody? I found a very deadly discovery. Some of these deck names are hilarious. So, this is one of the 2019 Challenger decks, the Deadly Discovery. I grabbed a bunch of these for a pretty decent price, and you'll see why when we break into this thing. There's actually some really good cards in here. I looked at kind of all the Challenger decks. There's a couple that got some decent cards, but this one of the 2019 Challengers is my favorite. So I grabbed, as you can see, a few of them. So I did grab a few of the others, and I'll open one of those soon. But this is the one I really I wanted, because there's a bunch of good cards in here I'd like for myself. So let's break in here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Have you guys gotten any of these Challenger decks? What'd you think of them? Let me know. This is actually my first time opening a Challenger deck at all. So according to our contents here, we've got a battle ready 60 card deck. Yeah, they're usually not battle ready. But anyway, 15 card sideboard, a deck box, and a spin down life counter. That's right. So it pretty much is just like one of the pre-release kits. Same kind of box and everything. So literally exact same kind of box and everything as the pre-releases. So here's our spin down life counter. Oh, looks like a Dominaria logo, I believe. Oh, try and get that focus. There we go. Looks like a Dominaria logo, I think. Yeah. Still getting the hang of this whole thing back in after 12 years of not playing at all. So, I put a little spacer in there so the cards don't bounce around. That's nice. Anything else in here? Nope. So, I have been using actually a box just like this that I got from one of the other pre-release kits that I opened. I think it was 2019 maybe. Because it's got this, so there's this cool little extra box in here that I can put a bunch of little tokens in, you know, the little fishbowl tokens or whatever, just to kind of keep track of things when I'm playing games at the drafts. So I use this for my draft. I just keep sleeves in there, and I keep the divider in there so I can separate the cards I pull that I'm not going to play from the cards I'm actually going to play in the deck, you know, the sideboard and all that. And so it's pretty easy to get back and forth. It's just kind of flimsy, so I'm probably going to upgrade to a little better card box for the drafts. But if you're on a budget and you pick up one of these decks, these boxes actually aren't that bad. I mean, flimsy, but not horrible. They do work. I'm just picky, you know? So, all right, we got our Challenger deck fold out. Wow, that's a big fold out. That thing's massive. It barely fits on the camera. I mean, look at that. Oh, anyways, not much on that one. They're not trying to sell a lot in these, which is nice for once. All right, then we got our 2 packs. So I'm not sure why they're separated. Oh, I guess this is the sideboard. Okay, that makes sense. All right, think, Dan, think. All right, so here's our main deck. Let's kind of break into this. I'll go through every card just so you can see, because even some of the commons in here are good. So this deck was not too bad. I might actually try to play with one of these. I don't know. So we got Vraska, the Relic Seeker, is your Planeswalker for the deck. She is 1 green, 1 black, 4 colorless. Holy mana cost, Batman. Her +2 is create a 2/2 black pirate creature token with menace. Not bad. Her -3 is destroy target artifact, creature, or enchantment. Create a colorless treasure token. That's really, really good, especially since she's a 6-drop, or a 6 right off the bat. So you can actually pop her for that 2 turns in a row and take care of some beastly stuff that's causing you problems. And then the -10 is target player's life total becomes 1. Now, this is an expensive card to get out. It's not played a lot, it's not worth a lot, but in the right combo, that target player's life total becomes 1, you got a Ginger Brute out, and they don't have anything with haste. I mean, you pop off that -10, and guess what? Game over. So, anyways, Vraska the Relic Seeker, I think it's a really underrated Planeswalker. I think it's probably the most underrated Planeswalker. I really kind of like that card a lot. So anyways, there's our Mythic. So rares, we've got Find and Finality. So return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, or the Finality is you may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature you control, then all creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. Same cost as Vraska, which is kind of ironic there, see? So same casting cost as Vraska, but that could be a pretty good board wipe and game finalizer right there. And you do get 2 of those. And then here's getting into good stuff. We've got Woodland Cemetery. This is one of the rare Dominaria or I believe Innistrad lands that now they do come into play tapped unless you control a swamp or a forest. So, I mean, on your second turn, you probably have a swamp or a forest out, so you can put it into play untapped. So this is a very usable dual land in my book. I think these are pretty underrated because I mean, the odds of you not having a swamp or forest in a green and black deck on the second turn, pretty slim. And if you keep a hand that's only got this in it and no other lands, you're not playing correctly. You should have mulliganed. So, I think it's a pretty usable land. I think these dual lands are probably my favorites aside from the shock lands or the pain lands. The only downside is they don't count as a swamp or a forest, but you know, that's because the wording would have probably been messed up that way. People have been like, well, I put it into play, it's a forest, so it comes into play on tap. Yeah. So they had to idiot proof it, basically. So, but I do like these lands. I think these are really, really underrated lands. I think they should be more valuable than they are. I would stack these, no problem. And there's 2 of them. And they are valuable. They're just not as valuable as I think they should be. Then is the next one. Yep, the next one is the main reason I bought these decks. Overgrown Tomb. That's right. They come with a shock land that does count as a swamp and a forest. I love the shock lands. I have no problem tapping the shock lands because you can actually fetch these. So I love fetch lands. So fetch lands and shock land, I don't mind giving up what is that, 3 life to get a dual land on the board. Yeah, no problem with that at all. I'm perfectly fine with it. If my games are so close, so I'm worried about 3 life, then I didn't build my deck very well. So, Overgrown Tomb comes in every single one of these Deadly Discovery Challenger decks. So, if you need some shock lands and some of these Woodland Cemeteries, I suggest grabbing some of these decks. You can't beat them, and right now they're like $18 to $20 still. So I mean, the lands alone and the Planeswalker, we've already hit almost $20 in value. So, you know, we're pretty much already there. And then we get 2, count them, 2 Jadelight Rangers. That's right. So these are a couple bucks a piece. These are from Rivals of Ixalan, I believe. It's a 3-drop, 2 green and 1 colorless. When Jadelight Ranger enters the battlefield, it explores, then it explores again. If you don't know what Explore is, it's reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, then put the card either back or put it into the graveyard, and then repeat the process again. So, 3-drop for a 2/1, bad. 3-drop for a 2/1 that explores twice, good. So, this card, it comes with 2 of them, and I think they're like 270 or something a piece, kind of current value. Of course, that'll change in 5 minutes before I even post this video, probably. But, so right there you go. So, just the first one, we're not going to count these 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First 6 out of 8 cards that we get in this pack, already there's over $20 in value. And these are only $20. So, there you go. The rest of the deck's free. And end video. Just kidding. So, next up, we got one of my favorite cards of all time. I've loved this card since day one. Land of War Elves. This is the ultimate green ramp card. There is no better card, in my opinion, except for Curd Ape. Curd Ape with a Taiaga. That is the ultimate first round play. Anyway, of course, I'm kind of loving any basic land in Gingerbread as first round play right now because it's just awesome. Anyway, so 1 green, tap to add a green, and it's a 1/1. What can go wrong? It's a perfect creature. All right, next up we got Merfolk Branchwalker. We got a few of those. Also another, well, we got 4 of them actually. I think they're like a quarter card, which for an uncommon from Ixalan, not bad. Wild Growth Walkers. We got a couple of those. A couple, 2, 3, 4 of those. Then we got Seeker's Guide, another Ixalan uncommon. So we got 4 of those. And then we got some Ravenous Chupacabras. These are actually worth a little bit because when they enter the battlefield, they destroy target creature an opponent controls. Now, they're a little costly, 4 mana for a 2/2, but I mean, you know, a destruction spell is going to be at the very minimum 2 and not be nearly as powerful. and a 2/2 creature's gonna be 2. So you're getting a 2-shot right there. 2 cards in 1 slot. There's 3 of them in here, and these are actually worth a little bit too. I think they're probably 30-40 cents a piece for an uncommon from Rivals Wasteland. So you can't beat that. There's more value stacking up here. Then you got a Plague Crafter. You got District Guide. We got 2 of those. Another Mana Pumper. It's 3 for a 2/2, which is not horrible, but not great. But when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card or gate card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. So this is actually a great card for both, pumping up your mana, but also for gates, for finding gates if you're running a gate deck. So, all right, which I am in the process of building. Shh, be very, very quiet. Then we got some Golgari Findbroker. A couple of those, a couple of 2/3 of them. We've got an Eldest Reborn, one of the sagas. 1, 2, 3 of those. We've got a Cast Down, destroy target non-legendary creature for 1 black, 1 colorless, which I think is a very underrated card. It is worth a little bit. I think it's, I don't know, 30, 40 cents probably. But I think this should probably easily be a $1 card. I mean, that's 1 black, 1 colorless to destroy anything non-legendary is pretty good. I know there's a lot of legendary out, and that's probably why it's not as valuable as it probably should be. But in a format with not as much legendary stuff on the board, that's a really powerful card. Memorial of the Folly. You can sack it to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, which could be, once a little bit more of a late game, that could be a huge deal, because you can pull a creature card back when you're kind of exhausted on creatures at that point. And it's only 3 and tap it to do that, so it's not terribly expensive, especially late game. And then we got some gates. We got the Golgari Guild Gates. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So we do have some gates in here as well, so that's nice. So your little girl that can go grab gates or lands in there can go grab these, and then you got a dual land that she's grabbing. So it's kind of like a fetch land that doesn't cost you any life. All right. So, and then we got some just basic lands, swamps, and forests. So overall, I think it's a pretty powerful deck, especially for a precon. And the value in there, you just cannot argue with it. I mean, there's definitely more than $20 value in this deck right off the bat. And they, sell for around 20 bucks. So let's take a look at our sideboard here. I think there's a couple of cool little things on the sideboard as well. We've got an Argual's Bloodfast. That's a rare from Ixalan. This one is 1 black, 1 colorless, pay 2 life, draw a card. The awesome thing about that is it's an enchantment. It's not a tap, so you can do it as many times as you want, as many times as you have mana and life for. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 5 or less life, you may transform it. So using its ability kind of knocks you down in life, but then it gives you a reward. Once you get down there too far, you can turn it into Temple of Ecclesats, which is basically a swamp, but you can also tap it to sacrifice a creature, and you gain life equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness. So basically, pay a bunch of life, draw a bunch of cards, pump up some creature into massive proportions in the process, and then get yourself down to 5 life, flip it, and then sack that creature to gain back all the life you lost. So pretty awesome little broken card. I like it. Then you got Duress, good old-fashioned just discard card. You can't argue with that one, because you actually get to choose what they discard, and it's only 1 black. I mean, it's hard to top Duress. That's been a really aggravating card to your opponent since the early days of Magic. Golden Demise, got a few of those in case you're having trouble with some creatures. You can knock them down a little, or which if you're smart, you'll kill them when you do that. We got a Reclamation Sage. When he enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. So a creature that gets rid of artifacts and enchantments if they're giving you trouble. We got a creature with reach in case you're having trouble with flyers, and he does have undergrowth. And then just flat out murder if you want to commit some murder on some creatures that are giving you problems. So for 3, so another decent card. I think is probably a little underrated. So there's your sideboard. So there you have it. That is the 2019 Challenger deck, Deadly Discovery. Like I said, you can pick these up for around 20 bucks, a little under 20 if you look hard enough, and get some good auctions or whatever. And there's easily more than $20 worth of value in there. So it's a no-brainer. The other 2019 decks are pretty close in value to what they go for on a lot of them. So I mean, I think these Challenger decks are pretty underrated. I don't see a lot of people going too crazy for them because they are a precon deck, but they're precon decks that have good stuff in them. You know, I mean, no, you're probably not going to go beat down somebody's $500 deck with one of these, but it's possible depending on how they can play, if they're any good at building decks and playing. But you know, the odds are it's not going to be a super powerful deck. But there's a ton of stuff on Google where you can upgrade these pretty cheaply to a lot more powerful deck, if you're interested in that. But just the cards alone, I mean, just the value you're going to get is pretty awesome. I'm pretty proud of them. If you want any of these cards, let me know. All my patrons get first dibs on them plus discounts. So let me know in the comments what you think of these Challenger decks. If you've gotten any, if you think you got good value out of them, if you're planning on getting any, or if you got any cool tweaks for them, let me know. Put them in the comments. Let's give some people some knowledge in the comments there. So I got a whole bunch of more opening videos, crazy stuff like this that I've gotten. I've got some I don't know if you can see behind those, but I got a 2017 gift pack. Yeah, you can't see that. So I'll be opening that one. Some other stuff, some Commander decks, Planeswalker decks. So let me know if there's something you want to see me open that's kind of out there right now that you're on the fence about buying or not. If you want to see me open it, let me know. I might have it, or I can probably get it pretty easy. All right, so leave me a comment or send me a message or hit me up on Patreon. I'm Old Schools with an S, MTG over there. So, all right, guys, hope to hear from you soon. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Bye.